So today, look at all this mess back here. Today I am going to be decluttering our closet, kind of making room for baby girl stuff, and getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff that I no longer wear, Jonathan doesn't wear, and that doesn't fit the boys anymore. So let's go ahead and get into it because I have a lot ahead of me. So yeah, while I'm doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys a story of about the time that your girl almost got kidnapped. I was almost snatched up, and it was not good that it happened, but I mean there was a good outcome because I'm still here. So all the clothes that I'm getting rid of, I'm going to, like, my clothes and Jonathan's clothes that I get rid of is going to donation. Most of the clothes that I'm getting rid of, that's the boys' is going to donation. Some of it I'm going to take to this little store that's in town. What they do is you take some of your clothes in. You take your clothes in, they sell it for you, and in store you get store credit. So I'm going to do that, and that way whatever we have to get still for baby girl, we can just get there with some of the clothes that we take in. That's the boys'. But the boys have a lot of clothes that they no longer fit into that I just need to get rid of. The last time that I cleaned out the closet, I didn't really take out much of their stuff because we still didn't know what we were having. And if it was a boy, well, we were just going to keep all the stuff. See, like this. I have a donation bag here already going, so once I fill that up, then I'll start separating what we're going to take to that store. Although we already have a big box downstairs full of stuff that we're going to take to that store. So, yeah. But let's go ahead and get into the story. So this took place when I was in high school. So when we were younger, my sisters and I, we would always walk. We wouldn't walk home. We would walk to my mom's cell phone store after school because it was closer, and then plus, I mean, she was always there. No one was ever home. So we would walk to the store. Now, this was fresh. This had to be my freshman year because this is when I was still going to high school. I was going to high school by myself. My sister still hadn't started high school. So yeah, I was going by myself, so I walked by myself after school. Now, I would walk in the direction opposite of where everyone else would walk. So I was always by myself. And so I was always walking by myself, and I always stopped by. So the way that I would walk, I always had a routine, and like I would walk the same way because sometimes my mom would pick me up, and she had to know like what way I was walking so that she could pick me up, right? So, ¿qué se acabó? Ahorita va a empezar. Mira, go sit down, ahorita va a empezar el otro. So, which is, I mean, it's good so that your family knows where you are at all times, right? But at the same time, it's bad because you never know who's watching, and a stranger can learn your routine just like that. But I would walk the exact same way every single time, and because I had to be at the store at a certain time. If I was late, I would get in trouble. So I would do everything the exact same every day. Says it 5 more times. There's like a hair in my mouth. And around this time, my mom and my stepdad were really into watching America's Most Wanted and just those types of shows. And those shows would scare the shit out of me because just for the simple fact that they were real. These were real stories. They weren't fake. They weren't made up. So, but when I would watch them, I would kind of just like take note of things like the guy would say, like when you're walking alone, make sure you're always paying attention, stuff like that. So when I would walk, I would always have my headphones in and I would be blasting music because, like I said, I was by myself. But I was always aware. I was always looking around. I would look up, look around. I would have my music high to where it was like kind of blasting, but it wasn't so high so that I couldn't hear like the cars or anything. So I can hear when a car was pulling up behind me. I was always looking down on the floor, especially if it was on a sunny day, because you can see when there's a reflection of someone walking up behind you. And whenever there was someone behind me, I would move to the side and let them pass me. I never let anyone walk behind me. I just didn't like that. And I would never take rides from anybody. Even if it was my friends, I wouldn't. I was so sketched out by everyone and anything that I would not. My friend's mom even went to the store one time and she told my mom, she's like, I always offer her rides. She's like, and she always says no. She's like, and I just wanted to make sure it was okay with you, with my mom. Mom was like, oh yeah, it's fine, But even after that, I never. I was just like, no, it's okay, I'll walk. I don't know. I was always sketched out by everything, like I said. So, um, so yeah, I was always like aware of my surroundings. And one day, I was walking, and it was a sunny day, so like I could see on the ground if anyone was coming up behind me. And there was this white van that I noticed far on back. And I used to walk past this crazy house. It wasn't a crazy house. It was a mental institution, and that's where it was like a rehabilitation center for patients who had mental disabilities. And the way this place was set up was there was the fence, and there was like a whole bunch of land, and all the way in the far back was where the actual building was, because if anyone escaped, they wanted to be able to have time to catch them before they actually got out. So I was walking past that rehabilitation center. This still fits there. And I noticed this white van. Now it was, we used to call them, what would we call them? They were pedophile vans. We called them pedophile vans. And there were the white creepy vans, right? And I noticed that van when I was passing that rehabilitation center, that it was behind me. And passing the rehabilitation center, I could turn that way and go past some apartments and some houses, and it was a little bit of a busier street, and there was a liquor store right there. Sometimes I would take that route if I wanted to stop by the store to get some snacks before getting to the store. But usually I would just go straight and keep going. It was kind of like through the back way. It wasn't as busy of a street, and there was some more private businesses. But like I said, that's the route that I usually would take. So that I had to cross the street this way, and I usually let the cars pass by unless the cars were like adamant for me to pass by. So I was crossing the street and I noticed that van behind me. So I lowered the music a little bit and I was more like on high alert at that point. So I went straight and I kept walking, and I remember I was on like a dirt way, and I noticed that the van wasn't passing me and it was going slower, and it was kind of like slowing down behind me. So at this point I was like, okay. My heart started beating. I was like, oh girl, you better get snatched up. So I turned back, I looked at the van, I made eye contact with the driver, and I was like, okay, this is what this person looks like. All right, cool. So I took note of what the driver looked like, and at that point I grabbed my phone. Oh, I got the hair, little bastard. um So I grabbed my phone and I dialed up my mom, and I was like, can you come pick me up? And I had my headphones in, so the person didn't really know I was talking to someone on the phone, but I was talking to my mom. I called my mom and I was like, can you come pick me up? And she was like, why? And I was like, because your girl is getting followed. I was like, because this van is following me. And she was like, I mean, it wouldn't have taken, at the most, it would have taken her like 5 minutes. I was almost like around the corner, but not really. I was still, walking wise, I was still, what, like a good 15 minutes away? 15? Yeah, I would say 15. I was still a good distance away to like keep walking and risk it. But I wasn't going to risk it either way. I was like, ooh, no, girl. So, these are so cute. I don't want to get rid of them, but they're already too tight on Zaya. Look at these little PJ pants. Aren't these adorable? I'm a hoarder, you guys. I always like, this is why we always have so much stuff. Clothes wise, anything, like, I don't want to get rid of it. Am I going to get rid of it? No. Yes. No. Yes. No. No. What was I saying? So I called her and I told her that this van was following me, and I told her what the man looked like, and she was like, okay, I'm coming. And she was like 5 minutes away, like I said, driving at the most. So I kept walking. I started walking like a little bit faster, and the van stayed behind me. And it stayed on me. And at this point, I was about to get to some motels. And you guys, those motels scared the F out of me, because one time that I was walking past them, I walked past a crime scene. Like, something had happened in that hotel room. They had everything taped off, and there was the news reporters there, and there was blood on the ground. Girl. So every time I walked past those motels, I was always so creeped out. But I was about to get to those motels when my mom pulled up, and the van was still going slow. So you guys, my mom was not even like 5 minutes away, but the van should have had enough time to pass me, right, as I was walking. And my mom was able to come from the store, pull up behind the van. The van was still there, and when my mom pulled up, I turned, right, and I started walking, and the van saw that I was walking towards them, and like I made eye contact with the guy again, and they saw that I got in the car, and then that's when they drove off. And so my mom was like, I almost got robbed. The robachicos were coming after me. But yeah, you guys, that was the time that I almost got kidnapped. Now, if I wasn't paying attention, I don't know what would have happened. But this is why. Kids, this is why you always have to be aware. Because nowadays, we're always on our phone. We're never paying attention. You never know what's going on. And the way things are going now, like, as far as all of kidnappings and the sex trafficking, you just never know. And you always have to be on your toes because it is scary. But that's one thing that, like, from watching those shows, I was always, like, scared. but it also taught me to always be on my toes and like check my surroundings, check everything out, because girl, you just never know. Oh, look at these minion pajamas. I'm gonna give the boys a bath in a little bit because they had some chips and their face is a mess. But I usually wait to give them a bath until around the time that I know they're gonna start to get tired, so that the bath just kind of does it for them. Well, especially Isaiah. Isaac doesn't take naps during the day anymore, and if he does, it usually ends up being around 5 or 6ish, which means that he wakes up around 7 and he's up all night. So yeah, but I'm gonna leave these out so I can put these on Zaya after the bath. But yeah, has anything similar ever happened to you guys? Because girl, that is so scary, and it's happening more and more nowadays, like I said. And you just need to be on your toes and be aware, because people are crazy. They are crazy. So I've gotten through this whole bin and thrown, what, 2 things into the donation bag? I'm so annoying. But I mean, the bag is like halfway full because I already took some stuff out from up here. But there's just no more room. Isaac has so many jeans. It's ridiculous. My pants that don't fit me right now, but your girl knows that they will. I know I'm not the only one that does that. I mean, it doesn't fit me right now, but eventually it will, so I'm gonna keep it. Okay. We can get rid of these though. Alright guys, well I'm going to keep sorting through this. And I'll show you guys the end results, maybe, if I remember. If not, this will be the end of the video. So I'll do the outro now, and then if I do end up showing you guys the end results, then you guys will see it. You guys all know. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed that little story time while I cleaned this mess. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye!